been able to achieve this. What's been have you experienced any blowback from the federal government or the states at all?
Well, we did. Chief Robert Swiftdale Rose did speak to the Justice Department, one of the officials there, and he asked him one question. What does the term acronym BAR stand for? He didn't know. British Authorizing Registry. He didn't know. He said, well, every state has a bar exam. Of course. But what does that BAR stand for? And when this guy from the Justice Department didn't know, and Swift Arrow told him, the guy hung up on him.
That's amazing. Well, when we come back, we'll be in our final segment and continue this fascinating conversation with Chaska Denny. You're listening to Freedom Link Radio on the Orion Talk Radio Network. Don't go away, folks. Last segment coming up. Welcome back, folks, to the final segment of Freedom Link Radio for this Thursday evening edition. We're joined by Chaska Denny of the United Nations of Turtle Island. And Gwen, absolutely fascinating information that's being put out here. And I'll tell you, I think that a lot has to happen to get this word out to the people because, you know, you say by talking tonight, there's an obvious track record of success here. And it's just nice to see a people that have been subject to such genocide and rampant theft of their lands, their people, their resources.
Take children.
Take the power back. You know, I've had Kevin Annette on the show in the past talking about some of the atrocities that the Catholic Church had done up in Canada to the indigenous people up there. And I mean, it still goes on today. So to have the Indian nations come together and start taking the power back and doing it in such a way that doesn't alienate or make enemies. I mean, it's absolutely fascinating. I'm speechless.
One of the things that happened down here in Tennessee when this land was repatriated over in Sevier County, in Sevierville, which happened to be named after one of the colonels who helped round up the Cherokees to march them on the Long Walk, when Chief Robert Swift Arrow Rose and them repatriated that land there. They said, this is historic.
It is historic.
They said, this will help the United States citizens during this recession. So we said, yeah, as long as they're our friend and ally.
Now you're talking about the Long March that was during the Andrew Jackson administration, right?
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. There's no words that I can describe because I had not known about the atrocities committed during that. I mean, the way I found out, Chaska, is a couple of Native Americans that I talked to, they didn't use $20 bills. Correct. They wouldn't do it because of Jackson's face being on the $20 bill. And I was, why wouldn't you use a $20 bill? Well, because of the Long March. What are you talking about?
Trail of Tears.
Yeah, the Trail of Tears. And I had no idea.
One of the things that happened when they repatriated this land down here and the American citizens gave it to the Cherokee Nation of Indians is that when they paid for the court filing of that, the guy took out a $20 bill and he painted a little Hitler mustache on Andrew Jackson's face and gave it to him, and they took it.
Now, Chaska, how do people get in touch with you if they're interested in pursuing this, and where can they find out more information, specifically if they fall within the boundaries of one of the nations?
Okay, well, we have United Nations of Turtle Island Federation, or United Nations of Turtle Island.com, all one word. And they can reach Chief Robert Swift Arrow at 202-957-5731. Or they can reach me at 816-820-8255. 0012. And we can discuss this, as long as we know who the person is that we're talking to, because, we've had all kind of people try to impersonate and even try to duplicate and manufacture false licenses and IDs and all that. But our IDs and licenses are so technically modern with watermarks, everything it cannot be duplicated.
Wow. So you've had a lot of people try to take advantage of this then?
Of some, not a whole lot, but, there's been some here and there that seen an opportunity to possibly try to forge this and even sign our signatures and stuff, but it cannot be done. It failed, and it was caught right away.
So, Chaska, can you talk a little bit about once you send your application and give up your United States citizenship, then what is the responsibility of the members now? I mean, what do they need to do, and how do they participate in all of this?
Well, right now, because of, this is something entirely new, we have declared that in certain instances there will be a dual citizenship, that you could retain your Social Security number because you work in a job, or you may be having benefits that are due you. And we even have a document to where, like, Social Security benefits. Well, we can make it so you get a lump sum, and once you got that, then you can come over fully. Those that are over fully can take advantage of the license plates, the passport, international ID, nation ID, and fully sovereign. Those that are in dual citizenship will just be in our database until such time as they can fully come over. Our friends and allies, they will never become part of our nation, but they will be a friend and ally. And as long as we know them and we have documents for them to fill out, they have to show their picture so we know who they are, and they can call us. We'll discuss certain things, and then we'll arrive at agreements as friends and allies are supposed to. And then we can take care of certain things for them to alleviate certain situations that may exist on that land, such as taxes. Taxes are not going to go down; they're going to go up. But that's all under the corporation. Under nation status with us, then it's our jurisdiction. We determine that, and we're not trying to be like that corporation. We're not here for the money or anything like that. We're here to help our people have a better life. And if we can do this side by side with our friends and allies, great. That's how it's supposed to have been. But, people get in these situations where they see money to be made, and so they'll take advantage of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's dirty, rotten greed, and unfortunately, we're living in a society now that is ruled by greed and ruled by these large corporate interests, and we see our rights eroding, and we see our sovereignty eroding. We see our wages diminishing. Our ability to purchase things have gone way down because money's not worth what it was. And just the other day, Ford opened up a $1 billion plant in India. Yeah, the second one. And they used our tax dollars to do it.
Correct.
To outsource it. I mean, folks, if that's not enough reason for us to say, look, it's like I tell you on the shows all the time. The House of Representatives or the Senate can defund a program if they don't like it anymore, but they can't repeal it, so they defund it. Well, in this instance, you're doing the same thing. You're not supporting the policies being put in place by our non-representing representatives, so defund them. And what a good way to do so. Become a friend and ally. And I'm definitely going to be learning a lot more about this, Chaska, because this is absolutely fascinating information. I'm totally floored. 1 hour doesn't do it justice. Go ahead.
Let me tell you, when we had that conversation with the State Department and Homeland Security, and they asked us if we were requesting permission to do this, that, and we said no. And they said, all we're doing is alerting you that the future is coming here, and there's going to be a mass migration from tribe back to nation. Because under tribe, they'll never get nowhere. They'll never own their land. But under nation, that land can never be sold. And that's just like for our friends and allies. If they gave that land to us under our jurisdiction, that land will never be sold. And they can live in that house in perpetuity.
Wow. Well, we're out of time tonight, Chaska, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on, folks. You want to find out more about Chaska Denny and what he talked about tonight? Visit www.unitednationsofturtleisland.com for more information. Specifically, if you fall within the footprint of one of these emerging nations, of one of these growing nations that are popping up now. You know, the tribes are taking the power back and becoming nations again. And that's something that's very important, because that's the stuff that we need to do as American citizens. Take the power back. We, the people, have the power. They work for us. Go ahead.
Joe, the applications for Friend and Ally are also on that. And I just want to encourage everyone to really consider that and make that application and extend yourself toward that sovereign relationship where we're not being defined as enemies, and we're not being told by the mainstream media who our enemy is, and we can really be allies and work together in this. And I just wanted to tell Denny, Wopila, happy wash day.
Wash day. Wash day, good one.
Thank you very much for tuning in tonight, folks. The next show, Sunday evening, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern. Until then, on behalf of Gwen Caldwell, I'm Joe Joseph. Thank you for showing up tonight, and have a pleasant evening. Take care, everybody.